Bourbon, Broncos, and No B.S. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hey, what's going on, Broncos Country? Welcome to another edition of Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. My name's Kevin. I got Adam with me here tonight, and I got to tell you, it's always those itches that are the most inopportune time. That as soon as the video ends, it's like that's when the nose just gets that tickle. You're like that, and you start the show. It looks like you're picking your nose. And so anyway, for those listening to this on a podcasting platform, probably are just like move on, and so we shall. Adam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. That's like when your waiter comes by, like as soon as they give you your food and you're in mid bite, where it's the most unflattering thing that you're doing. And like, how is your food tasting tonight?
That's why we have thumbs. So that when waiters interrupt us halfway through a bite, we can give them the thumbs up to tell them we're good. Hey, guys, it is time to talk some Broncos football. We are less than 90 days, 89 days away exact from kickoff between Broncos versus Titans. And, guys, this is going to happen really quickly. Broncos are at mandatory mini training camp right now. And then they got the full-blown training camp here in a few weeks. And that is just going to be huge because we are going to have a lot of discussions around who's going to make the roster, who's not. And Adam, that's going to be a full-blown conversation for us to have later on. But there's some bigger news today. And so we got Sean up in here. We got Jose up in here. Glad you guys are doing it, but we want to hear about what you guys think of this new signing. A running back, J.K. Dobbins, right? Here we go, man. And from the Chargers. So you want to talk about somebody who has some insider knowledge about how the Harbaugh system works.
Exactly.
We might have our guy. But Adam, dude, what do you think, man?
The Denver backfield is shaping up to be a very physical, big, it is not shaping up to be a spread offense type of running back system. This is shaping up to be a three clouds and a pile of dust. And I am all about that life.
Sure.
I was a Lombardi in another life, and I like running the ball. I am annoying to play against in Madden or EA Sports because I like to run the ball. I like to mash the ball. So if I could run the ball 56 times a la Air Force, I would do it.
A la Air Force, yep.
So I don't think we're gonna break out the triple bone anytime soon, but I like the pickup. It really, I think, puts an onus on we're here to win now. We're not gonna sit here with 𝐁𝐫𝐸𝐬 seeing if he pans out, if he doesn't pan out. This is gonna be like, well, 𝐁𝐫𝐸𝐬, you're going to get the second chance at this. Dobbins is going to be the other back opposite Harvey. So I like it. And the contract that they signed him to is basically a 1 year, $2 million deal. They can add another $2 million in incentives. So very team friendly, hurts a division rival. And yeah, just everything's coming up Broncos, I think, right now. So how do you feel about it, Kev?
It feels like it, man. Everything you're saying, like it feels like the Broncos, they really do believe themselves, and you see it in how they're making their moves now too. You know, the Broncos still have a good bit of cap money hit against the Russell Wilson deal, and so to bring in somebody even for a 1 year deal, we don't have a lot of money to play around with. And this is just a good signing to show, there's some confidence there in this team. And look, I don't think J.K. Dobbins would have signed with us if he also didn't think that this was worth a year, especially if people are kind of look at him and saying, hey, is this guy done? You know, like I know he was like kind of comeback player of the year last year or whatnot, but you know, is this running back aging out? And so why would he go to a team where there's a real strong potential for him to fail? You know what I mean? So there's just the writing's on the wall that this is really, really good news.
It also shows that he left the facility without a he left the facility without a deal a week ago. So this was
Yeah.
very much this wasn't a desperation move. This was probably one of those like, listen, go home, think about it, and when you come back and see that we're the better team and the better option and just better in every sense of the word, then let us know.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened today. So I don't I almost thought this would be kind of like a like maybe a STEMI didn't come along as much as we would like, and we saw that in training camp, and maybe they made this move closer to the start of the season. But
Mm-hmm.
this was a pretty big move. I mean, it, it's a substantial move to say that, this we're not going to rely on a second year guy. We're going to go with a proven
Right.
commodity at the backfield spot. Harvey's a rookie. McLaughlin is a third year, but doesn't have like a huge role. Estemi's in
No,
his
but
second
yeah,
year.
exactly.
So the room is very young anyway, and now Dobbins is your veteran guy in there. So there's
Yeah,
another check. There's another plus in the column.
you're right. I mean, you got to wonder to some degree, like, is there any talk? Was there any talk of this being a longer deal? Or did the Broncos go into this thinking, and wanting this to be a one-term deal because, hey, if anything, it gives us some buffer in the running back room. And also, while we're trying to build up RJ Harvey, we don't have to initially rely on him, right off the bat. And, God forbid the worst happens and he has a fumble or two early on. And now he's in his own head. All of Broncos country is like, why did we draft this guy? Rah, 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 right. And I know how those comments are going to come in. I'm going to hear them. I'm going to see them and we're going to talk about them. And I don't want to talk about them. Right. So you can not only just find out who the hot hand is, but you have skills in each one of these guys, that you can leverage in certain aspects, right?
Yeah.
So you're very well rounded here. But as one of the guys said in the chat earlier, if J.K. Dobbins goes down, because we are worried about his health situation, we're back to where we started, which were we necessarily concerned this time yesterday?
I don't know about concerned, but
right.
It was a question that didn't really have a great answer at that point. So yeah, if that question yesterday, don't have a great answer today is, we do. We got a veteran running back in the room with J.K. Dobbins, who almost had 1,000 yards last year in a very similar kind of role that he's going to have this year with Denver. So that's great as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. So I think if anything, we went from optimistic to, okay, now we have some trust in the room.
Yes.
You add that veteran presence and you're like, okay, now we have some trust there. You know, if everything goes to hell, you have a bona fide veteran running back that has posted great numbers, is well known and well respected around the league. And you put the ball in his hands, right? And you have a surefire option there. And that's he's the rock. He's the bedstone. He's the cornerstone. He's the foundation. And I think if you at least leverage him in that way this year, then you can look next year. Hey, is he worth keeping around another year? Do we want to extend this? How's his health? How is RJ Harvey? Do we need to even worry about, and it could be just like, hey, man, come help us out for a year. We'll do our best to make you look good, to get you back in football shape, and then we'll go from there. But if you want to part ways after that, you can part ways. So it seems like a win-win to me all the way around.
I mean, exactly. Sean, how did you know? Is that you in the bushes out over
I'm looking out the window. For those listening online and not able to see, Adam does have the question attached to his name of, is he wearing pants? And so we're asking this question apparently to our fans today. And there's been more comments about whether or not Adam is wearing pants than if JK, the whole J.K. Dobbins signing thing. Like, that's just
inquiring minds want to know.
the inquiring minds.
I only ask the questions that you guys want to know. So am I, Aaron? I don't know.
Well, hey guys, if you want to talk more about J.K. Dobbins, put it in the comments. But let's go over to this question first from D-Rock. Man, how you doing? He's asking about Pratt coming to the Mile High City. Do you have any insight on that, Adam?
I'm not super familiar on Pratt. Do we have a first name to go with that?
Let's see here.
Yeah, let's go to the Google machine.
Yeah, let's go to the Google machine. It looks like a possibly Bengals linebacker. And not a for sure thing, obviously, but looking at it could be a good fit. I don't know though, man.
Can you really trust any defenders from Cincinnati? I don't know that they had any defenders last season. I'm drawing an image of a Pratt playing for Cincinnati. I'm answering that question. Again, Denver's going to have some linebacker issues, even with Dre Greenlaw being signed and Alex Singleton coming back. There is not a ton of depth behind those two. As we famously know, I am not a huge Justin Sternod guy. They have Lavelle. Drew Sanders, when they let him be big and fast, he looks amazing being big and fast. When he's asked to do assignments like cover this guy or be in this spot,
not a strong suit.
Not a strong suit, but I think Pratt is an inside linebacker, if I want to say so. And as a starter, he was marginal, but as a depth guy, yeah, I would be totally 1,000% all over that, especially when you consider the depth. When you consider the depth that we have behind there right now.
Yeah, I think because I keep forgetting about Sanders myself. When I think about the Broncos linebacker room and I go through these names, it's usually somebody else reminding me, or I see Sanders' name pop up and I'm like, oh yeah, we have that guy.
Right.
Look, this is a guy that, if you remember, guys, there was a lot of hype about him. And he got a little bit of playing time last year and he made some plays. I think I think if I remember right, he was one of the guys that got a sack in like his first game.
Yeah, first game that he got activated from IR, he had a sack, and I want to say they activated him in every game, like the last 3 games of the year, including the playoff games. I want to say,
yeah.
So what? I mean, you look at him, and there was maybe one play like 2 seasons ago where he started off on the wrong side of the play and chased down the back on the correct side of the play. So
Adam's frozen, guys.
I'm still here though.
There you go.
So for a guy that big to move that fast that's not a trait that everybody has. Unfortunately, the mental side of the game, he's still catching up. Plus, the team keeps moving him from inside to outside. Right. And that was the issue that he had at Arkansas, was that they had him inside and they moved him outside. And then we drafted him, moved him back inside to move him outside. And now that we don't have any depth, we're moving him back inside. So
I think that's a very fair point.
I think that's the thing hurting his development more than anything right now. Just not having a position to really focus on.
Yeah. I would like to think that the Broncos coaching staff sees that too. And I think enough is enough, and we leave him where he is. We make a decision. This is where we need him. This is where he's better at. This is what he's more comfortable with. Let's leave him there and see what he does. And look, if he's a guy that's just a depth player, but when he's out there, he's still dangerous. He's still capable of getting sacks. Then great. Like, we don't need him to be this, amazing Hall of Famer player, right? We used to go out there and when we need him, have him step up. But the cool thing, if you guys remember, one of the cool things from last year was, especially at the end of the season, you saw how many rookies were on the field for the Broncos, and we were still winning games, right? Rookies. And these guys were stepping up. And so the mentality, and that's, to me, that's talking about the culture, the mentality of the team. You know, these guys, no matter how young they are, they know that they can get called up at a moment's notice, and they better be ready to play, or there's going to be hell to pay for it. Well, probably from Coach Payton, but I think by this point, Bo Nix would be involved in it too, if not, you know, leading the ass chewing.
I mean, to have a draft class where you have maybe like 3 contributors from it, that's a great draft class.
That's a very good, right? Yep.
Starting from 1 to 7 last year, Bo Nix, Jonah Ellis. Third round was, I drawing a blank, but
not Mims.
But almost every single draft pick that we had last year spent time, like had significant time last season. Even going to all the way to the 7th round, where Devon Bailey is your second wide receiver at this point.
Yeah. So let's look at this, because that's a good point right there. So I mean, Trey Franklin, definitely, yep, big name there. Chris Abrams-Draine, okay, amazing, but was a contributor, you know,
and had flashes where he played significant time.
Yep, exactly. Audric Estime, we're gonna see more of that this year. Okay. But for a late fifth round pick, running back, okay.
He was on the active roster, yes.
RJ Harvey has a lot more pressure on him than Audric does. But then you got Devon Bailey. Now, I stole this fact, okay? I didn't find it myself. I wasn't original in thinking up what is this? But from 2000 to 2025, 140 wide receivers have been drafted in the 7th round. 2 of them have had 475 yards or more in their rookie season. Number 2, Devon Bailey. Number 1,
I bet I know.
Who?
Is it Marcus Colston?
Yep. And who was the coach that drafted him? From the Saints? I wonder. Our good friend Sean Payton. Okay. So Sean Payton has the top 2 7th round wide receiver picks of the last 25 years. Just saying, from the rookie standpoint. So, but look, Devon Bailey, for everything you guys are hearing about at OTAs and mandatory minicamp,
yes,
Devon Bailey is like the number 3 wide receiver, if not the number 2. Like they are expecting him to have a very heavy role in this offense. And to me, it's like, well, duh. Have you not seen how this guy plays? I think he is a guy that you could see by the end of this season, the whole NFL just knows this guy's name.
If there was a pro comparison, without even knowing that stat, Kev Dan, if there was a pro comp to Devon Bailey, there's the guy that he reminded me of even last season, Marcus Colston. Not a burner necessarily, but
consistent.
So consistent. His and body control is great at the box out, where I don't where you can put your body just in a position. You know, all the great rebounders can do it. The good wideouts can use that. I mean, Cortland does it. The big body guys are able to do that. And for as much as they were counting on Troy Franklin to take that big jump this year, kind of sounds like Devon Bailey is making that big jump. It kind of sounds like whatever opportunity they want Troy Franklin to take, kind of seems like Devon Bailey is taking that opportunity. So that's something to consider. Sean had
you could look at Troy Franklin as definitely being just a down the seam kind of guy. You know, you pair him out there with Evan Engram as well, and you have 2 deep threats that now the defense has to cover, right? So I think, you know, do I expect Troy Franklin to be have a larger role on the offense this year? No, I think they're going to want to really leverage that connection that they're hoping Bo Nix and Troy Franklin have gained over the offseason. And hopefully we saw the first of many at the at the very beginning of that playoff game. Hopefully like that was the ignition source of what we're going to see this whole next season. But I think you see him out on the field and you've got to wonder, like, dude, they're at least running him deep, and you got to wonder, Bo Nix can't throw very far. He very well might try, and he very well might hit him. So he's a guy that may not be out there very often, but when he is, the defense had better be paying attention because they could get burned.
Yeah. You really hope that, I mean, like you were saying, Kev, that they really do want to leverage that relationship that they had back at Oregon. It's a passer-driven league, so if you have guys that you can throw out in waves, that it kind of looks like that what Denver's stacking back there in the wide receiver room. And keep in mind, Troy Franklin doesn't have a whole lot of time to rest on his laurels because there's a Pat Bryant behind him. So if anything, these moves are also kind of an indirect message to the team of like, listen, the best 53 are going to be out there. It's not going to be incumbent on where you were drafted, if you were drafted, what you signed. The best 53 guys that are going to make this team better are going to be out there. Yeah. And that should be a big motivator or motivation for the 𝐊𝐤𝐜𝐸𝐬s and the Troy Franklins of the world that, like, you may not have 2 or 3 seasons to develop.
Yeah. You know what? I would put Troy Franklin at a 50% chance of getting cut. With Pat behind him there?
With as much as they invested in moving up to get him, you hope that's not the case, but
yeah. But if you are also in this mode of like, look, we are a team that has the potential to win now. Are we gonna mess around with a couple picks? Okay, like
not a fourth rounder.
We'll eat it. We'll eat it. It's not like we're talking about, okay, we traded 3 first-round picks away for a certain quarterback, right? So I see what you're saying, man, but it's kind of like, dude, also at the same time, if they're going to be serious, there's a situation where if Pat has more of a connection with Bo than Troy does, and they see that during training camp, they might say, hey, dude, either, good luck finding another team, best of luck to you, or, put you on the practice squad.
Yeah. Did you read Sean's question? I have not heard about this.
No, actually, I saw that earlier. Sean, definitely a good question here. No, I have not heard anything about that. To me, I think, it goes back to the offensive line is such, it's so important for that group to be together for as long as possible. They read off of each other. They understand the body language of each other. They know how to communicate with each other. There's a reason that the offensive linemen are the smartest players on the team. I know they look big and goofy, right? But fact of the matter is, so I think if there's, anything that we could do to keep Powers around, I think they would do it.
I don't know that he has too much guaranteed money left. I know that they had they gave him a roster adjustment last season. So I want to say most of his guaranteed money is up. So there isn't really I guess there wouldn't be anything saying that they couldn't cut him. However, I haven't heard anything about that. And I don't know that the depth situation behind him is necessarily something that they would really look at it. Like if they had maybe like a Quinn Miners type of situation where he's the guy behind somebody and it's clearly that he's the next guy up. But if there was, I mean, the previous year before, he was kind of the weak link on the line. Last season, much better. So you're hoping this, year 3 will be good. But there is that thing. Well, he did kind of have a poor season the year before. So I maybe, and if there were maybe some cap issues, but I want to say even after the J.K. Dobbins deal, that's not an issue right now.
No.
So and I think after even rookie deals are done, I believe they're all done, that you want to be at around that $5 million like slush fund just in case something comes up, and they're right around there even after the J.K. Dobbins deal. So I don't know. I don't think so.
Right.
But again, they do have some interesting contract situations coming up at the end of the season. So, but that also all the rest money comes off at the end of the season too. So
we're gonna have a lot of money to play with next year.
Yeah, there will be some cap space to be had next year. It may get spoken for quite quickly, but we're gonna have some cheddar, as they say, to play with next season.
I love it. Let's see. D-Rock is just really quickly here for this one. Who gets the first Bo Nuke? I like this term. Mims was struck by a Bo Nuke last season against the Browns. I know exactly which. I can see it in my head here when I close my eyes. That beautiful play. And who will be the next candidate? Man, it could be anyone. But I think you're going to see a whole lot more of that. And those are kind of passes that teams just have a hard time defending against when they're that precise and that quick, man. Dude, it could be anyone.
I think if you're looking for the candidates right off the bat, it's got to be Franklin and Mims. I mean, if I love a good screen pass, that's like one of those things. Like when you see it executed perfectly, it like just it's amazing. It's beautiful. My son, beautiful, perfectly executed screen pass. Second, but deep passes, especially when you see them live in the stadium and you see how it develops over. Those are gorgeous. I'm going to say, but instead of it being Franklin or Mims, I'm going to say the guy that we were just talking about is Devon Vele is going to get the first.
That'd be great.
And it's going to be like a Rod Smith type of dealie where we just hit him with the perfect play action and Vele is just gone at that point.
Love it. Well, look, like Roy says here, a little over 60 million in cap space right now. So we do have a little bit of play money, but that's just going to get even better. I think it's like 85 million plus the way it sits right now. Cap space next season. So big play Vele. Yep. As they say, a Vele a day keeps the losses at bay. Anyway, that's what I say. I don't know. You can start saying it too.
I like that.
I'd share it.
I like that. And I'm going to use
Vele a day keeps the losses at bay.
Let's get it on a bumper sticker.
Hell yeah, man. We are going to be starting to create some merch, guys, and using it as giveaways and prizes for our 10th season. And also you can buy it yourself. So that very well could be a saying that we see on our shirt before too, on a shirt, a hat, a mug, all the fun stuff. Ken says Franklin will make the team. Sean Payton offense is difficult for all players to learn. Totally agree and understand that.
Good point.
So look, you're right. He has a second year under his belt now. He's had a lot of time to really, focus with Bo Nix, and Bo Nix is more confident now as well. And so could be very interesting there. But Adam, last kind of question that I want to end the show on here. A video I made today. Bo Nix is a nobody. Bo Nix is a nobody. But isn't that great? No, I'm serious. I think this is a really good thing. Now, for everybody out there, you can comment in the comment section, tell me how stupid I am, but hear me out first. Okay, this is something that actually Bo Nix was talking about on a press conference a couple weeks ago.
I know where we're going.
Yep. And he was talking about how him and one other player on the team. He didn't say who. Could be Cortland, could be Pat Surtain. But these guys reminding each other that they're nobodies yet. It doesn't matter what accolades they're getting. It doesn't matter what awards they're winning. It doesn't matter what the press is saying or what the fans are saying, how much they love them, how much they're accepted. At the end of the day, they haven't done anything yet. And by anything, that means they haven't won a Super Bowl. They haven't won a chip. Okay? So you have a bunch of guys here that recognize, look, one, we're on the right path, and that's great. But we have to keep things in perspective and cannot let all this outside noise affect us. And again, whether it's Cortland Sutton or Pat Surtain, I'm thinking one of those two guys who have a lot of years under their belt or getting a lot of awards, sitting down and looking each other in the eyes and saying, hey, you're not there yet. You're a nobody. Look, Bo Nix is a nobody. Pat Surtain is a nobody. Cortland Sutton is nobody. Garrett Bowles is nobody. And that's fine with me because, Adam, the thing that I kind of stuck with me today that popped in my head, a bunch of nobodies fighting to become somebodies can be incredibly freaking dangerous. I mean, think about it.
I am of the mind. One of the sports quotes that I love most was from Rod Smith. And Rod Smith said, you got to hate to lose more than you love to win. And there's a difference. And when I think of Bo Nix, who's already talking about that, he still has so much to prove. When you talk to the younger guys, they don't have like this, like, oh, we made the playoffs, that's so awesome. No, it's, we still got a lot to prove. We still got a lot that we want to do. We still got a lot we want to accomplish. You have the reigning defensive player of the year in PS2 saying, I'm hungry for more. Like, I don't, nobody gets into the league to make the playoffs. You get in the league to win one of these.
Yeah.
And so to hear that the consensus attitude from this team is, we haven't earned anything and we're chomping at the bit to earn more. No, that should make you as a Broncos fan chomping at the bit to get this season going, and so we can start earning our respect. So I'm right there with you, Kev. I'm right there with you.
Look, I keep saying it's the year of return to dominance, and you see it in how the Broncos are making their moves. You're seeing how the Broncos players and coaching staff are talking, how owners are talking, how fans are talking. Everyone sees that there's been a real culture shift within that building. And they have their eyes on the prize, and they're not going to stop until they get it. And once they get it, they're going to aim for it again. Okay, these are guys that are incredibly driven. And so I'm just going to say, be proud of our nobodies. When they talk about the Broncos, no, they don't have any, like names on, wide receiver threats. They don't have really, linebacker is a problem, blah, 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 blah. Okay, go for it. We're a bunch of nobodies, and be proud of it, because we're going to get to see how these guys are really going to develop this year, and it's going to be freaking fantastic. So let's do some closing thoughts here, guys. So before we do, make sure you stick around. Got some announcement. First off, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we are live with Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media channels to not only see our different videos and content we put out throughout the week. First off, when the season starts, a couple weeks beforehand, even, we're going to start doing all of our content, which includes our post game or our after game show on Mondays, our Tuesday full length shows, our pregame, our halftime show, our pregame and postgame podcast. I mean, we're going to have a ton of stuff. So you guys are going to make sure you're following us on the social media channels for that. But also, with it being our 10th year anniversary here, we'll be doing a ton of giveaways and everything. And one of the ways you might be entered for a chance to win is by following us on the different social media channels. So make sure you go do that now, so that when I ask for some proof later on, you can provide that then. Guys, it's going to be fantastic. Once again, with the Broncos, I say if, because I don't want to jinx it, if the Broncos hit 10 wins this year, we will be giving away 3 Bo Nix jerseys to different fans. So you're going to want to stay around to find out how to enter for that. Adam, you are not eligible, being Bourbon Broncos.
That was my question. That was my question.
I already had to tell Gary too. Gary. Thank you. A shout out to Gary, our marketing guy. He's fantastic as well, but also not eligible for prizes.
I already have a Bo Nix. I was planning on reselling mine and making it out of
Well, you could always get a different color. If you have an orange, you can get a blue.
You know what? Good point. Solid point.
You can never have too many jerseys. Just don't ask my wife that. She would give you a different answer.
Don't tell that to my wife either.
Whenever she asks for new shoes, I say only if I can get a new jersey, and that usually ends that conversation. Love you, dear. Anyway, what else we got, guys? Oh, Jared is going to be gone for a little bit here, guys. He's going to be off saving the world, protecting our freedoms and everything. So not to give away any more specifics on that, but the interesting thing, and you're like, why do I care, other than you're not going to see him here? One thing you're going to want to watch out for during the course of the first half of the season is Jared is going to randomly pop up with a Broncos trivia question throughout different shows. And whoever gets the answer to that trivia question correct first in our chat will be winning a prize. It's very random. It's going to happen at any point that he decides to just randomly pop in and drop in that video and have us play it. So just make sure you're watching out for Jared, because whenever his pretty face shows up on the screen, it means it's time for a 10th anniversary prize. So, guys, it's going to be a great season. Lots of Broncos wins, lots of prizes, lots of giveaways, because we appreciate all of you guys. We have Bourbon Broncos No B.S swag and merch that we're making soon. We just got this store set up, so a ton of stuff coming your way. And Adam's like, "What did I get myself into? This is a like whole organization here, man."
Head is spinning.
So anyway, guys, like I said, make sure you come back every Tuesday night for more Bourbon Broncos and No B.S. But let us close this out with some ending thoughts here. Adam, man, here we are. Mini camp is underway. Broncos are pretty much there for the most part. But what do you think, buddy? 89 days out.
I had a thought today. I mean, I'm super excited about the season, but I had a thought today, seeing some news come out of Pittsburgh. And like, you're probably asking, why do you care about Pittsburgh? Let me explain. TJ Watt is going to be holding out come OTAs because he is in the last year of his deal. TJ Watt plays outside linebacker. So we have a person here who also plays outside linebacker who is in the last year of his deal. And we are probably going to have to wait a little bit to get the market reset. While TJ Watt has not publicly put the number out, you can guess that because he's being paid $30 million this year, and that is going to go up. And as an important note, Nick Bonito's team has already said that the bidding for his services will start at $20 million next season. And if you look at the top 5 paid players to that position, that's the going rate. So yeah, you're hoping Nick Bonito, monster season. TJ Watt, if he wants to throw out like a 4-sack clunker this year, that would be okay.
That'd be okay.
Just saying. That'd be okay. Just saying.
I like it. Well, interesting thing to watch out for, because it could be something, again, if the Broncos are in the mindset and there's a price point that he'd be willing to work with us at, knowing our cap situation, it could be a very interesting move. And you're talking about just shaking up the AFC West again. Look, I'm already seeing videos today come out about people saying they were already on the fence about the Denver Broncos, and now with J.K. Dobbins, they're just like, you can't tell me anymore this offense hasn't improved. You can't tell me anymore this offense is mid. You can't tell me anymore that Bo Nix is like just this average quarterback. Like they have the pieces in place now. Yes, the running back is the biggest question, but with J.K. Dobbins there, look, it gives us a year to figure it out, what we have in RJ Harvey without shooting ourselves in the foot. So, look, the Broncos are in a great position, and it makes you wonder, are they going to go get somebody like TJ Ward if he's going to do stuff like that? So I don't know, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. But again, players are going to want to start to come to Denver, and you already see that with at least 2 known players this year between J.K. Dobbins and was it Hufanga? No, it was Ingram.
Yeah.
So those 2 players we courted, and they chose us.
Yeah, I mean, could you blame them?
No,
I don't.
You can't now. 3 years ago, yeah, I'd be like, "What is your problem?"
I appreciate it.
What lie did they tell you? I have some oceanfront property in Pueblo down there to sell you as well, buddy. It's real cheap. Like, why did you come here? But now it's like, well, yeah, duh. But it's like the Manning years. Like, of course you want to come play with me. Like, of course you want to come with the, But now it's like, of course you want to play with Sean Payton. Of course you want to play with this guy Bo Nix and this young team that has a ton of energy that is chomping at the bit, like you said, to make a name for themselves. And I could win a chip or 2 here, like. Yeah, why wouldn't you want to? And you're just going to see more and more and more of that, especially when we have $85 million of cap space to work with. It's going to be beautiful, guys. It's going to be beautiful. Well, Adam, bud, good talking to you, man. Appreciate your insights and everything as always, dude.
I love coming on. I love talking Denver Bronco football. I like piquing the audience's interest.
Yes.
On my attire below my waist. And Gary, I think that's an excellent idea. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. If we want to crowdsource that, Bo Nix undies for Adam.
I was going to pull that up. I meant to. Yep.
Yes. Yes. If I can
I'm sure we could find some.
There we go. Get those The internet.
I'm not gonna have that be in my search history.
Well, I'm not saying you would, because you're a happily married man, Dan, and you shouldn't do that.
I'm gonna go.
I'm a happily married man. I don't want that either.
I'm gonna let somebody else search that because I don't need the NSA getting some red alarms going off saying, "Hey, what's this guy doing?" But dude, before I get myself into trouble with the NSA, we're gonna end it here because I have nothing left to say, and end it as we always do on a very strong "Go Broncos."
Let's go Broncos.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sipping's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.